So this is a Victorian post-Christmas short story, written as a sequel to an O. Henry short story. It's my attempt at mimicking O. Henry's playful literary prose and his love of the surprise ending. 161 words of it, or 15% of the short story, is the first sentence. Don't be counting them. Lo, how the month of January is maligned. Excuse me. The name of the short story is January's Disregard. Lo, how the month of January is maligned. So doomed it is by the saddest of circumstance, given no choice but to accept the delivery, nay, the thudding deposit of the bill for life's excesses, the days after price of indulgence, the sobering payment demanded forthwith for having pandered to and embraced the prior year's most celebrated highs, the holiday season, with days so bloated by givers of gifts and wishers of well, that they sting love's lost heart with their absence at the mere turn of a calendar page, revealing then a cruel and dark month that trudges on, its ticking seconds devoid of hallelujahs, its minutes weighted by blandness, its suffocating hours and gray days moving ever so slowly onward, deep into the harshness of winter where, alas, instead of a reward for surviving the death grip of depression, there is only the wanton disregard of January's own delivery to more of the same, the month of February. Miss Constantia Colson debated with herself on the grocer's porch. With nothing in season, should she purchase jarred vegetables and preserves and a cured ham in a can, or should she pay quadruple the price for imported oranges or perhaps a cantaloupe? And instead of ham, should she buy the fish, kept fresh by the shaved ice on which it lay and the cold, snow-swollen, desolate January air? 2 storefronts away, a door swung open. Hardy Welch strolled through it while hitching up his trousers, the noise of a tavern piano in his wake. Gray and content with it, his coat bundled over suspended work clothes, Hardy lumbered toward the grocer's porch. "Afternoon, Miss Colson," he called. When he arrived alongside, he removed his hat, and with nervous hands he fed them an endless circle of hat brim. "If you be wondering why I'm here rather than tending to your ailing father, it's to run an errand for him." She was indeed wondering just that. Hardy was a live-in handyman who provided standard hygienic and other general maintenance assistance that her wheelchair-bound father needed daily. "So tell me, Mr. Welch," Miss Colson said, her back straightening, "what is it that my father finds so important that he sends you out on a cold January day like this?" "Pomegranates." "Pomegranates?" "Yes, he's asked for fresh pomegranates to be eaten with his cream of wheat while he sips his breakfast postum on the morrow, miss." Her father's spirits had suffered immensely of late. Until recently, and to her continued disbelief, he had looked forward to spending the holidays with his new wife, the former Mrs. Widdop, whom he'd taken to affectionately calling Widdy, and who'd gone from tending to his cooking and housekeeping needs to performing other more intimate duties, the frequency of which had overcome the day-to-day misery of his debilitating confinement. Widdy's death had been a shock. 'Twas this past Thanksgiving Eve, with Miss Colson an overnight guest. Oh, how it so repulsed her, her father giggling ever so loudly in the room next to hers, him worshiping God, while Widdy, his new wife, knelt lasciviously at her father's carnal altar, worshiping him. Until, praise the Lord, the classless woman keeled over, dead from a cerebral hemorrhage. Her father's only salvation, a reminder from the coroner to be thankful she hadn't had a teeth-clenching seizure at that very moment as well. Pomegranates, she thought. Yes, father is a sly one. He had used the same trick on her when he was a child and mother was on winter holiday, sending young Stantia to market and telling her not to return until she secured some of the out-of-season fruit, or until supper, whichever came first. What came soon after was mother's divorce, father's trysts with the cook, the cause. But what was he up to? His newest caretakers, husband and wife Hardy and Irma Welch, were both nearly as elderly as her father. The new wife, Whitty, had seen to this, that the new help would be a couple, and an older couple at that, to eliminate a recurrence of what had brought her together with him. With the two of them in residence, it guaranteed an ever-present caretaking presence, allowing one or the other the freedom to perform errands, bona fide or not, when required. Mr. Welch, Miss Colson said, you must tell me how my father is feeling today. He is in the best of humor, Miss Colson, he answered, smiling. Haven't seen him this cheerful since before his wife, he cleared his throat, or since before the Thanksgiving holiday. Why, he's been tittering and giggling a mite regular this past few days. There could be no hanky-panky with Hardy Welch's wife in her estimation. Aside from being married to him for 40-odd years, Irma Welch was also very Christian, had even begun reading the Bible to father. This was apparently supplying him with enough spiritual relief to lift him from his holiday despair. Quite a turnaround for a man so devastated by his new wife's death that his daughter feared almost daily that he might try to end it for himself. On news of his elevated spirits, her concern dissolved. He was safe at home in the comforting stead of the good Irma Welch. Yoo-hoo! Hello, Hardy! Hardy Welch acknowledged a woman's approach from across the street. Why, hello, my dearest. Find any fresh pomegranates? Mr. Colson's daughter was aghast. Mrs. Welch, what is the meaning of this? If you are here, then who's caring for father? I assure you, Miss Colson, old Irma Welch said, your father is fine. He's being visited by a doctor. And a doctor? Miss Colson's bony frame stiffened. At father's house? What in God's name has happened? Now, Miss, Hardy answered. There's no new maladies to fret about. He's been wanting a doctor in for his counsel is all. For a gentleman's discussion of the philosophies of the Chinaman. If I got me meanings right. Philosophy my arse, husband. You know nothing, Hardy. Why, Mr. Colson wished a doctor in to discuss the provision of welfare to needy children abroad. I should know. He's had me ring up doctors daily for him, looking for just the right one to conduct his interview. This was also out of focus for Miss Colson. She stammered a few syllables while the two continued bickering. Then she made one final cleansing motion with her open hand. Enough. Mrs. Welch, you must tell me exactly what father said during his calls to these doctors. Old Irma Welch, her 4th grade education, exceeding her loving husband's by a full 3 grades, answered promptly, why, he asked each of them the same question in the hope that they could assist him in his quest. The question, Mrs. Welch. Now, please, Miss Colson said, seated. Tell me the question. Irma Welch cleared her throat. His words were, near as I can remember, can you see it clear to believe in the youth in Asia? Yes, that's it. Youth in Asia. Do you believe in it?